Welcome to Youth and Inspiration today. In this discussion, we shall explore the dynamic world of young minds shaping our future. Introducing the panel for today, Chandni Agarwal. She is the co-founder of Yogi Bear Collectives. Yogi Bear Collectives is a creative incubator in the heart of Hyderabad, designed by creatives to support creators around the world. Music to photography. Yogi Bear Collectives is the hub for all creative things. Coming to our second speaker, Sonali Talwalkar is a parenting coach. As an intuitive mentor specializing in parenting, relationships, midlife, and teen to adult transition, she blends empathy and wisdom into transformative journeys of life. To our final panelist, Ruchi Sharma Kapoor, she is a leadership coach, facilitator, social and emotional intelligence certified practitioner, NLP certified master practitioner, and an author. So, welcome all the speakers and all my guests. As Franklin Delano Roosevelt said, we cannot always build the future for our youth, but we can always build our youth for the future. With this apt quote, I would like to open the discussion with Chandni. I would like to know what inspired you to pursue entrepreneurship at a very young age, and how is the journey different from a traditional career path?
Hi, everybody. Quite a question to start with. So, did I really pursue it or did it pursue me is the big question. I'm from a business family. My mother is a pioneer who built the first Andhra Telangana tourism project. I have a father who's been in the granite and steel industry for generations to come, and a brother who treats business like a baby treats candy, just something to keep shifting from one to the other. So a lot of times I do wonder whether this is something that was just laid out for me as a path, or is it something that taking a deep dive in though, I would say that I think my thoughts shifted towards entrepreneurship when I came back from Australia after doing my architecture. And the reverse culture shock that I went through changed my perspective and changed me as a person. I've always been a creative and passionate person. And I guess my desires to bring unique ideas to life were the inspiration for my journey. From being an environmental architect to before architecture was cool, being a pastry chef before that was the business that every woman entrepreneur was thinking about. And now in the entertainment industry, trying to bring about a shift when I'm an outsider myself. It's always been that way. That's my thought process as such. Has it been easy? Not really. A lot of people assume that because I'm from a business family, things would have been laid out for me. But what they kind of forget is that I picked industries which had nothing to do with the understanding or the little network that my family has. I had to establish credibility for myself. I had to make people believe in me because of the lack of experience I had. Focus on showcasing expertise and dedication to building this. I mean, being an introvert, I still had to become an extrovert, which I think was the hardest part of choosing young entrepreneurship. And very truthfully, all of this differs with a regular path in only one small way, or maybe a really large way. It's lonely. It's a singular person's journey and a very lonely climb. To walk this path, you need to deal with uncertainty and constant adaptation as your life's choice. What else can I say? Yeah, and not to mention self-doubt, sleepless nights. Oh my God, the number of those that I've gone through, unbelievable. But it's been great. It's been fun because it's the way to build something that I can call my own. And I think that's the most important thing at the end for any entrepreneur, young or old. All part and parcel, I guess. That's how I think it's different.
Lovely. I think the audience will really be inspired to pursue the passion. And like you said, that burning oil, the burning passion and drive, I think they will literally chase that. So coming to a topic that's quite prevalent, social media. So Nali, how do you perceive the role of social media in shaping the identity and relationships of teenagers today? What impact do you believe it has on their mental health and well-being?
Yeah, hi Devika. Thank you for this particular question. I think it's a very common and a very popular challenge that parents go through. And this is one of the common queries that parents come to me, during and we discuss during our mentoring sessions. I like to take on from the quote that you mentioned in your introduction that we cannot build the future for our youth, but we can definitely build the youth for our future. So today we have social media. Tomorrow we may have something else. I think during our times we came up with the mall culture. Our parents were in for a culture shock, when malls started opening up and the entire experience of shopping changed. So the point is that technology is ruling the world. Life is very, very dynamic. Things are changing on a daily basis. So it's very, very difficult to stick to a particular way of life or a way of thinking. And I think adaptability becomes a very, very important attribute, not just for our teenagers and young adults, but also for our parents. Talking about social media, Devika, I come from the perspective that everything needs to be in balance. So we have a positive side towards life and we have a negative side towards life. Anything which is over positive is not good, and anything again which is huge towards being too negative is also not good. Similarly, when it comes to social media, I think we as parents, our generation, we need to adapt to the evolution that's taking place and understand the fact that social media is there to stay. However, what we really need to focus on is how we can actually build our youth, our children, our young adults into being responsible and understanding how to use social media in a very responsible way. So there are negatives and there are positives. I'm not just going to say that it's only negatives and, the screen time is too much and things like that. It's really about what you are viewing and what are you taking back in terms of learning from social media. So just to give you an example, if you look at the positives, there are inspirational videos, there are gratitude posts, there are achievement stories, personal achievement stories. There are acts of kindness that people put forth in the videos, which actually teach our youth about empathy. They teach our youth about responsibility, sensitivity. So these are the positive aspects of it. Talking about the negative, of course, there's cyberbullying, there is body shaming that leads to, a kind of comparison that the youth lands up making. They become extremely conscious of themselves. All of this may lead to FOMO, fear of missing out. It leads to isolation. It leads to self doubt. It leads to low self esteem. In extreme cases, it can lead to depression as well. If I have to kind of summarize, because this is a very, very vast topic, if I actually get to talking, I think I'll utilize the entire hour. But net, there are going to be positives and negatives. We need to accept the fact that social media is here to stay. We need to develop our youth and ourselves to understand the positives and how we can actually use the benefits of social media for our overall mental wellness and holistic development, not just for ourselves, but also for our children. So that's what I think that's a perspective that I would like
Thank,
to talk
thank
about.
you. Thank you so much, Sonali, for your sharing your insights. It's very profound, though. So, switching gears, I would like to ask Ruchi, could you share some strategies for cultivating emotional resilience in the face of adversity? Everybody has gone through the pandemic, and I think that was a very testing time. So, how do you develop emotional resilience at those times?
Thank you, Devika, for asking this question. Emotional resilience, okay, and building in times of adversity. One thing I think I would like to say that having an emotional resilience ability is our muscle memory. And like we train regularly to go in gym to keep a good physical health, it is not just something, that ability to switch on in time of challenges or when there is adversity, as we said. It's a fact that challenges will be there in life as long as we are in this world. There are challenges in different shapes and for everyone, be it youth, be it adults, children. We need to build ourselves and make ourselves ready for facing this adversity, which means by regularly investing in ourselves. So, picking up from what Sonali was saying, while in today's world there are a lot of distractions and a lot of areas in which the youth faces these challenges, one thing which can be very, very useful is maintaining and nurturing the connections. If you see in erstwhile times, there were a lot of chit chats happening, group talks happening, group meetings happening.
Yes.
Now we have slowly weaned off from that. And that
Correct.
isolation is causing a lot of trouble for everyone, actually. And youth, importantly, because they have been raised in a time where they haven't seen the benefits of the social connection. So one thing is not compromising and not replacing it by having WhatsApp chats, Snapchat chats, or dropping in a message, but really picking up that phone and talking, and even better, calling your circle of friends, family, basically your army, as the slang that goes. Having your army there and building and nurturing that connection very, very in a focused manner. Now, that is something which will keep you going, and you would not be in a state of that, what am I doing? I'm feeling so lonely. There is no one to talk to. That is something which needs, a lot of focus. Now, the other aspect is one thing, and I'm not going to talk about things which are easily available and everyone knows, do meditation, do exercise, yoga, which are very, very powerful tools. But some of the doables is, as I talked about connection, the other thing is about inculcate a habit of reading. I think
Nice.
reading is
Nice.
something which over the years has just phased out. I think reading fiction books as a child and as a youngsters, that is fine, which is very good. But as you grow up, we wean out of this ability or this habit of reading regularly, and then it becomes like a to do. Like you feel
Right.
it's a pain to get up in the morning and go for a walk. So it's a pain to read. People say read 5 pages, 10 pages, but one nice book, if you're in a regular habit, it can do wonders. It is that, again, it's a connection, right? Sometimes it's a connection with people you can see. With books, you have a connection with people who you just feel they get you. There are so many things, so many stories, you never know what inspires and what sticks with you. So one thing for building emotional resilience is inculcating a habit of regularly reading. There is so much wisdom out there, and I think we will never have dearth of what to read. But I think just that commitment to stay to it is very, very critical. So if you were to ask me for building that emotional resilience, to my mind it would be nurturing your connections. And here I mean true connections, not the one you click selfies with, not the one you tag on different posts. These are people you can open up, who know you. You don't have to have any armors. The second is having a commitment towards reading, having a practice of reading regularly. I think these are two things which goes a long way and are very, very powerful in building and flexing the emotional resilience muscle.
Wow. These are such great insights I have got from all three of you. So it's very enriching for me to hear all of you. So now we'll go on to we'll talk about teen or parenting teens or young adults. So Sonale, what unique challenges do these parents face, and how can it be addressed effectively?
Okay, so I think that's a big one. Devika, the thing is that today, if you Google, just type what are the common challenges faced by parents,
Hmm.
you will get, like a list
Yeah.
of different obstacles. The challenging times that parents are going through, the harrowing times that they go through. There are so many parenting groups. Even I think when we meet up during morning walks, evening walks, this is the common gossip, not a gossip thing of, it's like letting out, there's so much of
Yes.
that frustration inside as a parent. So I want to just, try to tweak. I'm going to make an attempt to tweak the way we look at challenges today, and kind of make it a little lighthearted, because parenting at the end of the day is a journey, right? I mean, we are not perfect. We are human beings as well. No one is perfect, and no one can ever reach that point of perfection. So the whole idea is that enjoy the journey, have fun. There are going to be those speed breakers and potholes and things like that. But then you need to slow down whenever there's a speed breaker, there's an obstacle, and then carry on. So I think I want to go back to childhood, where if I can draw a parallel to social media in relation to a playground. All right. So I'm sure even you would recollect, Devika, that when we were young, first thing that our parents did was, held our hands and they took us to this playground, which was close by to where we
Correct.
stayed, right?
Correct.
And
Yeah.
then you have the swing and the slides and the sand and all of that. So initially, it's very scary. They would hold our hand. They would take us there. They would take us to every, play area. Tell us what it is. How do we use it? Give us an experience of it. First, even if we're sitting on the swing, they would push a little slow so that we could get a little confidence and that fear element goes off. And they teach us how to have fun. And then there is the interaction with other children, right? Because there's so many girls and
Yes.
boys over there.
Yeah.
So we'll end up playing with everybody. Thoda bahut, we fight as well. But then again, we'll end up playing. And then eventually, as parents, what we do is we sit back, right? We sit on the bench, just keeping a watch on the children. And we may do whatever little bit of work that we've carried from home. So I think social media is the digital playground today, right? So it's exactly what we have to do, what our children, what our parents did to us as children, and what we did to our children by taking them to the playground. So we handhold them in this playground of social media. Okay, we introduce them to this playground. So the swing can become a video, the slide can become a post. Uh, Building sandcastles can become building social networks. Like how do you really choose who do you network with and who do you connect with? And plus the social interactions also, right? Because it's about communication. So hand holding is very, very important. So just treat it like a playground. Be there with your youngsters. Handhold them, and of course, before that, you need to use the playground yourself. You cannot go there and
True.
look behind. So it's extremely important that the hard work and the learning needs to happen from the parent side first, so that we can handhold our children, show them the playground, show them all the different resources available, what to use, how much time should you be, playing on each and everything. And whenever they're stuck, how do you reach out? How do you ask questions? How do you ask for help? And then just, take a back seat once you're a little confident and relaxed that, okay, my child is kind of getting the hang of it. But then you don't go away. You just sit on the bench a little away and keep your eyes on them, so that you ensure that they're safe. So I think if we look at it from this perspective, it just would make the entire journey very, very relaxful, lighthearted, and fun as well, right? Even we can play with them.
Wow, this example of social media being the digital playground for kids is a fantastic analogy, and I think the audience is very inspired by what they heard today from you. So, coming to Chandni, I would like to hear from you how youth entrepreneurship differs from entrepreneurship at later stages of life. Many people turn 40, after 40s, they say, okay, I'm done with the 9 to 5 job and now I want to do something else. But how does youth entrepreneurship differ? And what are the unique advantages of that young entrepreneurs bring to the table?
Well, great question. I think entrepreneurship at any age is a good age to start, and it's more about a mindset that you keep rather than the age that you're at. But saying that, at the same time, there are a few things that I believe that being young allows us to do that being older may not. One of the main things is that youth entrepreneurship brings a certain sense of naiveness that allows you to take a little bit more risk than someone who's, seen a bit of life. Also, it's a little bit of an easier learning graph. You're not very set in your ways yet. So because of this, you're a little bit more adaptable to change, and the, changing landscape becomes easier for you. Um, Youngsters also come with this energy and this creativity that allows pivoting to become very easy and fast. Saying this, I don't mean that an older generation cannot come with the same amount of energy, because, age is a number you put on yourself, but it's just seen a little bit more in the younger generation. Um, Another major advantage of being a young entrepreneur is, I think, the big, bold L sign that you come with. Like, like a learner's car, everybody kind of gives you the benefit um, to make a small or maybe a little bit of a bigger mistake that they wouldn't allow somebody who is seasoned to do. At the same time, it's a little bit of a curse as well, because a lot of the veterans don't really believe in your ideas that much. It can go the other way, but I guess that's where you find your tribe and, work with the people you need to work with. I also think one major advantage younglings have is limited responsibility. You don't have to take care of a family. You don't have a lot of these responsibilities that a person in his 40s or her in her 40s would have. This allows you the capability of really focusing on your venture a little bit more. And that allows you to drive a very unique concept forward. So, yeah, I think these are the few things that kind of cover what I think young entrepreneurs have, like a yay over the older ones.
Oh, I like the term you use, younglings. Okay, I'm going to use that term now. Very good. It is a very cool lingo, I must say. Yeah. So thank you for the term. And so, Ruchi, often we have heard that young entrepreneurs face difficulties due to emotional outbursts. It also happens to the adults. I'm not denying that, but we have heard from in the aspect of young entrepreneurs that they have difficulties in facing emotional outbursts. So, what role does mindset and cognitive reframing play in developing emotional resilience? And second question, how can individuals effectively integrate these practices in the daily life?
Okay, wow, that's a topic for a full day workshop, Devika. But it's a very valid question, and all right. So let me attempt and answer it in a way that the viewers see it something which they can go back and adapt in their lives. So cognitive reframing. I think before we get to that, the first thing is the key to any change is creating awareness about what are these things which are causing you to feel pulled down, what are these things which are acting as triggers for you, what are these things which are making you go in self doubt. So the first step before we take any technique is about having that awareness created and acceptance that, okay, yeah, this thing does this to me. Now, cognitive reframing, a very easy and a simple way to start with reframing. And these days, we see a lot of terms used instead of cognitive reframing. We have heard affirmations. We have said that, use these are very, very powerful.
Yes.
But I think one way to go about, you can't just start using it and then the impact will be limited. The first thing is to start watching your self talk. Just observe yourself. How are you talking to yourself when you are not talking to anyone? Is the self-talk demeaning? Is the self-talk discouraging? Is the self-talk giving you a lot of fear about what's coming forward? And I think that is the place wherein you have to catch yourself and create that awareness for yourself. And then slowly and gradually practice reframing that self-talk. From there it might start as a task again. It might start as something difficult, that how to watch your self talk, but catch just one, start reframing any of the self talk that you do. I am feeling very scared. Instead of saying that, you might just say that, okay, I don't have all the facts right now with me. How about talking to a few people who may help me in this? Small and consistent steps in this direction goes a long way. So I think the first thing is creating the awareness, watching your self talk, and working with yourself in reframing that. You will see a lot of content, and as we are in a world of too much information available, one click and you will see a lot of things coming up. Don't try blindly following anything. Here, have an individualized approach. What worked for someone may or may not work for you, so try slow but be consistent. Now the other things is, it will be in continuation from what Devika I said earlier, in terms of building and how one can do it. It's a slow process, so working on your connections, reading the creating that self acceptance and awareness, and watching your self talk, and slowly starting on reframing. The other thing is spending consciously some time out in the nature. That's again a thing which we have lost touch with, and especially our youth. We still had days where we, as
Yes.
youngsters, we used to go out in the park and play, and then there
Yeah.
used to be one scary voice coming at 7 p.m. It's night, come back home. But one COVID, and I think the whole technological advancement, it has taken away this one big thing wherein children have lost touch, youth has lost touch with being out in the nature. So I think even if you're exercising, even if it means going out and just sitting there under a tree or staring at the sky, just do that. And focus on having, again, consistency is the key. Don't think, was I able to do for 1 hour or 30 minutes? Even 5 minutes is okay to start. And watch your self talk, as I said. Talk to yourself as you will talk to your dear one. Imagine that if your dear one would have been in the same situation, would you talk to that person in the same tone as you talk to yourself? And I think that is something which worked very well for me. And I started talking to myself a little more kindly, more compassionately, and not in a way that would just pull me down and give me all those negative feelings. So I think, yes, those are the things, Devika, when we talk about mindset or cognitive reframing and how does one work towards it. It is in small, consistent steps towards building the emotional resilience we need for ourselves.
Wow, this is absolutely very right, because I think we are very hard on ourselves, and we sometimes judge ourselves too much. That the even the outsiders are not judging us that much that we do. So I think positive self talk is very important, and having valuing ourselves. I think that is the first step towards developing emotional resilience. Very nice. So coming to support systems, everybody knows what is its importance, and like I had read somewhere, it is important that you create a family than you are born into. So I think it is very essential for us to develop a good support system which will help us grow. So Sonali, why do you think it is very crucial? A support system is crucial for parents of young adults or teens. And what do you think are the useful resources which will benefit them the most?
Okay, before I answer that question, Devika, I want to say that I am guilty. Okay, I'm guilty as a parent. I'm guilty as a mother.
Hmm.
The reason being because there were multiple occasions in the past where, in spite of support being available, I chose to not uh, take support or not to reach out
Hmm.
for the support. Primarily, the reason being, what will people say? What will people think? Everybody will know, and stuff like that. Today, I'm in a much better space, in a much more wiser, mature space. And I do not think for a millisecond before I have to shout out and say that, hey, I made a mistake. I don't know this. Can
Hmm.
somebody teach me? Can somebody help me with this? Uh, See, the thing, Devika, is that is a journey, but it's made up of multiple stages. So children have different life stages, right from infancy up to adulthood. Every stage comes with its own unique challenges, its own unique obstacles. And as parents, if we stick to being our own rigid self, that this is my parenting style, I'm only going to work like this, or I'm only going to think like this, then how will the synergy actually happen? Because the child is changing with every stage. And if we need to develop the relationship in the true sense, and we need to make a successful relation at the end of the day, we also have to walk along with them, right? So we need to figure out, okay, what is changing in them?
Right.
And now with this particular change, uh, is what I was doing working or is it not working? So if it's working, well and good, I continue to do what I do. If it's not working, it's a fairly simple thing what we even do at work, right? If something is not working, we strategize, we brainstorm, we figure out how to change our processes and things like that. So same thing is what applies to parenting as well. But I think because there is a stigma, a cultural, societal stigma attached. Most of us as parents, we fear coming out into the open. Support systems are humongous today, Devika, okay, especially with social media and the digital platform. So let's say today, if I'm stuck with a particular challenge with my child, then I just need to go on the internet and I say, okay, what are the 5 things I need to do, to ensure that my child studies, for example. And then, there's a list of things that comes up. I think the most popular is the how to dash dash dash. So everything is about how to, and tips for something, tips for ABC, tips for XYZ, hacks to do this and hacks to get your child to do something else. So all of this at the end of the day, it's good to read, but when you actually look at implementation, it's not as easy as we think it is because everybody comes with a different background, everybody comes with a different history, everybody's home environment is different, the culture is different, the family dynamics are different. So there's so much that goes into everything. And, uh, as a parent, when I said that I was guilty, there's also another reason for it is that today we crib about our children having or wasting their time on screens.
Yes.
However, when we actually are stuck and when we need help, what is it that we do most of the times? We go to the screen, right? We go on the
Yes.
internet because we try to find
Yes.
out, the quick ways and shortcuts and because we want everything very quickly. We want the solutions very quickly. There are very, very few parents, and this I'm saying from personal experience, because most of the time parents actually come to me when things have reached at a very sensitive stage, rather than actually coming earlier. So what parents land up doing is, doing myself, I'm guilty of that till a while ago. You go on the digital platform trying to get the support, and then we get all confused trying to implement it in our routine. But we don't actually connect. So we are doing the same thing, right, Devika? Out of let's say 100%, there's online here and there's offline here. We are 70-80% reaching online, and just
Yeah.
that 15-20% offline. So
Correct.
what are we doing? I mean, we are um, we're probably advocating something to our children that we ourselves are not role modeling. We're telling our children that, hey, you need support, come to me. I'm there for you. I'm there as a mother. I'm there as a father. However, when they reach the digital platform, we're not comfortable. We don't like it. And we say that, look, I'm here. But isn't that the same thing that we ourselves do as parents? So again, it becomes very important to role model. Support systems are available everywhere. Again, as I mentioned at the beginning, let's have a balance of both. Online is also good. Offline is also needed wherever required. So it's very, very important to not shy away. And regarding the second part of your question, where you spoke about resources, I think the most biggest powerful resource that we all have is within us, which is our brain, our mind.
Yes.
Uh, we don't need anything else. Okay, we just need to tweak that a little bit,
Yeah.
tweak on this, that mindset that we come with. Uh, try to mold ourselves into a growth mindset, become more adaptable, become more accepting, be open to feedback, have patience. Yeah, that's another thing that We don't have patience. Go slow, step by step. Everything will happen on its time. So we have the resource within us. We've been empowered. We all are empowered. We don't really need anything. But yes, we have these external online and offline supporting elements. So let's use them, remove all the inhibitions that we have inside of us so that we can make the most of all these beautiful benefits that we have on the platform today.
That's lovely. And I think you're right when you say that we are also guilty of our behavior and what we have done. So coming to my next question, so I would like to touch on a sensitive issue, gender stereotypes. It still persists. It is still there. I am not going to deny it. So, Chandni, I would like to ask you, how do you navigate that as an entrepreneur and overcome obstacles to pursue your vision confidently?
I'm in an industry, in a country, actually in a city that tends to misunderstand me all the time. Okay, my choice of clothes aren't right. My way of talking isn't right. My age isn't right. My knowledge base is never strong enough. I'm too friendly, too snooty. I'm too demanding. I'm not demanding enough. And so on and so forth. Truth is, my answer to all of this is just one thing: push, push, push. That's really it. I'm a very strong believer in the statement that we can't change the world. The only person we have control over is ourselves. So even with gender stereotype or problems that come by, the fact that people are stereotyping, my belief is that I am in control of what and who I let affect me. And how do I go about this? I think me, myself, and I, like I keep saying this to myself, is one of the most important statements that I make for myself. Uh, when I finally, it took me a lot of time. It's not like overnight I became this, guru who was perfectly not, didn't have a problem with other people's expectations of me. But when I finally embraced my unique perspective and my strengths, I realized that no one else, male, female, they, them, were able to shake me anymore. And I think that's very important. I mean, I'm not saying don't respect everyone, but do not carry their thought processes home with you. It's one of the most important things that I've learned. Another thing that I feel, and something that everyone's kind of touched upon as well, is, and oh my God, I thank my lucky stars for this, is that one of the biggest gifts I have in my journey is one of a supportive network of mentors and peers. My role model is my mom. My backbone is my father. But I also have friends who believe in me so much that they spend all night calming my worries down. In fact, I'll fall asleep, but they'll be out researching and figuring out how to solve my problem the next day. And I'm extremely grateful for this because without them, everyone would be able to rock my boat. And now they can't. So I really beg every young entrepreneur out there to please find yourself this really strong foundation and keep them. You'll have ups and downs, but keep them. Another big tidbit that I can give you, a small tidbit, I don't know, either which way, lena hai to lo, varna chhod do, kind of thing. I believe that something that stops all non-professional commentary towards you is establishing a strong personal brand for yourself. When you become a thought leader in your industry or in your life, it gets very, very hard for someone to pull you down. If they can't reach you, how are they going to pull you down? Right? So this is one of the other things that I, really strongly believe in. And that's why I say push, push, push. Stay true to yourself and your beliefs. Never give up on your dreams despite all the doubts, even your own doubts. And yeah, that's it, I think.
Wow. That gives an example. That is an example of immense strength and courage. So thank you. Thank you for sharing. Ruchi, I would like to ask you, emotional resilience, or when we say EQ also, people have a lot of misconceptions and a lot of hype has been spread around these terms. So, what are the common misconceptions about emotional resilience and how do you address?
So I think the emotional resilience, the biggest misconception is the way people perceive emotional resilience. It is the image when I talk of emotional resilience, often people have is a strong tree which is not impacted by anything, be it heavy rain, be it windy nights, and someone who's just standing tall. So if you develop a mechanism wherein nothing impacts you, whoever says anything, you don't feel bad, you don't go in self doubt, no one is able to hurt you, no one is able to make you angry, and so forth. That is what emotional resilience is. Whereas that is not what emotional resilience is. Emotional resilience is your ability to get back up quickly after feeling whatever you have to feel. So I have looked at this video, which is, I think, a very perfect example of emotional resilience. There is a toy that we all might have played in our childhood, at least I can tell that about myself, like a punching teddy bear. So you punch the teddy bear, and no matter how hard you punch it, it will fall and it will again come back up. It will fall, it will again come back up. That's what emotional resilience is. So it is not about your ability to not feel anything. It's about having an ability to be able to allow yourself to feel and quickly bounce back. So it's okay if you get angry. It's just about not going on breaking walls or shouting at someone. It is about taking a moment with yourself, saying, hey, what's happening? Okay, getting things in order. Someone said something, of course, you might feel hurt. Asking yourself, what is it which is causing that hurt? Okay, no, but this is not making sense. Coming back. Things like this is what emotional resilience is. The other misconception is either you have emotional resilience or you don't, and it is nothing like it. Emotional resilience is a skill, and like any other skill, you get better at it the more you practice. It is not something you're born with. It is not something that, oh, I don't have it, doesn't run in my family. I think genetically we are not wired to be emotionally resilient. It has nothing to do with that. Uh, First of all, having that awareness, that acceptance that yes, I do need emotional resilience, not for anyone else, but to be able to take care of myself better, to be able to feel joy and feel happy in the day to day life and not continuously be under some rock. So that is one. And then making a commitment to start practicing it, and it will get better with time. Now, how does one do it is and I would say the earlier points that we have said about the connections, reading, going out in nature, watching your self-talk, taking small steps, and being consistent with your approach. Emotional resilience is also about allowing yourself to feel what you are feeling. So it is not about that someone said and you felt a tinge and you say, no, hey, it didn't bother me. Okay, I'm cool. It doesn't help that. It's rather the better way would be, yes, it's someone said something. It did hurt me. It hurt me because I was again going back onto the old pattern because someone said about take for example, as Chandni was saying about an idea. And I was again going back into an old loop where I would go in self doubt. But now I think I've gathered that wisdom that no, someone saying is nothing to do with me. And then coming back. So that is something which you can develop, be allowing yourself to feel what you're feeling and sit with it, go deeper, that what exactly it is telling me, what part of me it is really troubling, and then allowing it to just pass. So yeah, that's about it, Devika, the misconceptions and the way slowly and steadily you can build on emotional resilience as a skill.
Nice. And as you said, acknowledging your emotions is the first step. I think it is very, very we sometimes deny that okay, we are not feeling a particular way just because it is very uncomfortable. So we want to accept the rosy things, but not the thorns in the life. So coming to the last segment of our discussion, which is education. So Sonali, how do you approach educating young adult parents about child development and parenting?
So I have a very simple philosophy, Devika, and that is experience, experience, experience. Okay, this is the only one word that I can think of. I think experiential training is the best available opportunity, not just for the parenting role, but it could be in any role that we take on in life. Of course, along with that, there are other mediums. So when we look at the formal education processes, there are classroom sessions, there are workshops, there are study materials, so books that you can go through. And along with that, there's also coaching, there is counseling, and there is mentoring. So when it comes to me, I primarily focus mainly on one-on-ones with parents and also group sessions if there's a common topic. Because sometimes parents may hesitate to come alone. So it's always nice if there can be a common topic and then a group of parents gets together. So the learning also becomes that much more fun. I think the other thing also when it comes to understanding in terms of what is happening is family dynamics, Devika. That is one aspect which I think is still needs a lot of attention. Normally, what happens is if there is a challenge, let's say, with your child, the focus is entirely on the child. Okay, so the child is doing this or not doing this, or the child is becoming like this. However, uh, the child is actually in that whole environment, right? Is surviving in that whole environment. And that environment is made up of so many other people. And each and everybody has a direct or an indirect influence on each other. So for small challenges, it works if you focus on the child. But if there are intense cases, if there are things which are really bothersome, you've tried whatever possible, but nothing is changing, then I think it's important for the parents to look beyond the child and start looking at themselves as well. One thing I think I would like to point out very, very strongly, Devika, and I'm glad I've got this platform to say this. This is coming only and only from all the mentoring sessions that I've done. I think we tend to make children the center of our world, when they're born. So for a while, it's good. But with time, as and when they grow up, they start having their own priorities, their own thought processes, and they're becoming different individuals. And there comes a point in time when the children have become big, they've become adults, they no longer need us. And that's when we tend to look at our partner, okay, who's there somewhere, right? But then it's too late, Devika. Um, I think my very, very strong message that I want to give today is that uh, it's, I think it's one of the most beautiful experiences becoming a parent. However, the most important relationship is what we have between the parents, because that is actually what nurtures our children. That is actually what the child is absorbing through the entire growth process because they're living with the parents. So what they are seeing, what they are hearing, everything is what their system is absorbing on a daily basis. So it's very, very important to focus on that relationship as well. Yes, focus on the child, but also focus on each other because that's the lifelong companionship, that we've got into. So I think from an education perspective, just again to kind of summarize, there are one-on-one sessions, group sessions, classroom sessions, books to read, online videos to see. However, do it in a nice, balanced way by focusing on the child and by focusing on each other. And out of all of this, please, please, please also focus on self. There's something called self-care. You don't have to burn out. You have to love yourself. Take care of your health, take care of your emotional health, mental health, physical health. Because at the end of the day, if you're standing on your two good feet, then the world is at your feet. So we don't want to be on the other side, where we're not able to do anything. We wait for the time, when we can actually pursue our own dreams and our own passions. But let's do it together along with this whole parenting journey. So let's not forget ourselves as well.
Lovely insights. I felt very nice hearing you and like very nice. So thank you so much, Sonali. So like you spoke about self-care, I would like to ask Ruchi that building emotional resilience is not a cakewalk. It is a difficult path. Everybody, it is not a very easy path. So we have already spoken about self-awareness very briefly, but I would like to you to elaborate on the role of self-awareness and self-care while we develop emotional resilience.
Well, I think again, so Devika, you are giving me one topic after the other, which calls for a full day session, and I'll try to summarize it here and also say things which are easy and adaptable. So, self-awareness is part of the emotional intelligence landscape. And if you do a Google search, self-awareness will tell you the definition of being in touch with yourself, being aware of your emotions, your strengths, and your development areas. Now, having said that, that is the definition which is available to us. What does it simply mean? It just simply means sitting with yourself completely without any filters, without any armors, just sitting with yourself. So, every day as a practice of spending some alone time where you do not have any gadget, where the TV is not on, where you are not chit chatting. It is just about being with yourself and reflecting back what is happening, what happened. And this is for someone who is yet to embark or is very, very new to this journey of what is self awareness, how do I get to that level. The first step exactly is simply put sitting there, reflecting back on the day and asking what happened that particular moment. I felt something, and what exactly was this? Why did I move away from that place? Why did that colleague said and that triggered me? And things like this. So just sitting with yourself and going deeper. You may not, or rather I would say you will not get the answers in the first go, but slowly and steadily, when it comes as a practice, you will start seeing and understanding yourselves much, much better. That what is it that hurts me so that I consciously avoid it? What is it that triggers me so that I consciously sit with it, work on it? And that is where I take care of myself and my emotions. The second part, and as Chandni was mentioning about having a personal brand. Now, where does a personal brand come in from? Today, if you ask someone what are few of your strengths, and here when I say this is not a interview question, it is about really knowing what is it that you get to the table. It is not about your marks, it is not about just the projects you've done, it is not about just the designation or the package you drive. What is it you are beyond as a person? What is your character? What do you feel? What are your what is the metal that you're made of? That is where the self awareness and the strengths come in for. And equally deserving, when you have a strong sense of strength, you will be able to look into your areas of development. The only time when you are not able to look into your areas of development and they remain behind a curtain and they keep haunting you from time to time, a person who is regularly practicing self awareness, as in touch with himself or herself, will have the ability to say, okay, I have challenges with presentation skills. Let me go and work on it. I think I have challenges with my English writing. So let me start working on it. But till the time you cover the first two steps of being with yourself and being in touch with your strengths, the conviction and the commitment for the third one will never happen. And for life, you can be haunted by those things. Coming to self care, sitting with yourself, I think, is one of the best form of self care. And as they say, we want to do so many things for others. We want to take care of our parents. We want to be there for our friends. We want to be there for our partners. And the list goes on. But we need to remember you can't pour from an empty cup. And that empty cup is you. So unless you have it in you, you don't want to be feeling drained by just giving. It's like a bank account, right? If you just take out money and don't deposit anything, it will just go zero and blah, blank. That you don't want with yourself. So what are the things which are going inside your own emotional well-being bank account? My my good eating habits, my physical health, my being in nature, my spending time with myself, having my connection, having my army with me, reading, whatever that means for you, which is filling up your cup. Those are the things that you need to be mindful of and create a list and consciously and consistently do those. So those are some of the things that for self-care, and the first step to it always will be being aware of it. So always remember, with awareness, you create a path for any change.
Lovely. So I guess one takeaway from this discussion is that from your insights is that don't be emotionally bankrupt. Well done. So coming to our last question, Chandni, how can we better support and encourage young people to pursue entrepreneurship?
Um, I mean, perfect question for a creative incubator, right? Because this is what we're talking about every day. Um, I guess as a basically all the discussions I've had with my company, one of the in my company, I mean, is that the most important thing is probably access to resources and a strong mentorship program. Having programs, workshops, and hands-on learning opportunities will help reduce the strain in growth. Um, Mentorship programs connecting experienced entrepreneurs with youth would give them, would put experience and excitement together. And that's a great mix, I think, because you can really make something out of that. Um, what else? I guess more than anything else, I believe we can also encourage our youth by actually a thought just crossed my head, and this is, I think, something that's probably the most important according to me. Maybe my office doesn't believe so much because it's not monetary, but I think listening. I think one of the biggest things we can give our young entrepreneurs is a space that's not judgmental, that's safe, where they can do and be whatever they want. Because in that space, I believe that they'll solve most of their problems for themselves. They don't really need us to handhold them that much. Most of them don't, because if you've come down on a entrepreneurship journey, you've come down with some clarity that it's not going to be that easy. So this, according to me, is one of the absolute biggest things we can give them. Apart from that, spaces for brain vacations so that they can, emotionally fill their cups up again, and, just have a creative outlet if they want to do something apart from work. Um, Also, collaborative growth platforms. This is something we're working very strongly towards, because peer-to-peer learning is something that people have forgotten about. I think one of the biggest things that social media has done is put us in this state of, oh, she's got it, but I don't, and I got to figure this out myself. If this can change into something which is more collaborative in nature, I think we can get a lot better out of it, in terms of companies, in terms of anything, just life in general, I think. So yeah, that's what I think young entrepreneurs need, or actually probably everybody needs. But yeah.
Yeah, oh my God. I cannot thank you much in words, but it has been an incredible discussion, and I have learned so much from all of you. And thank you to all our panelists for sharing their valuable insights and perspectives, and for such a progressive and forward-thinking discussion. It's been a pleasure having you on the show. Thank you so much. So I can just say that the audience today has got a lot of insights on self-awareness, on young adult parenting, and on young entrepreneurship. So I think that's it.
To stay informed about the startup ecosystem, subscribe to My Startup TV.